only Friendship is Magic book aimed at the younger kids is sort of like, let's say, Living Nights, and you basically see a big change in tone. I mean, people even have said that the MLP comics, maybe even novels, junior novels, are more mature at times, more different in many ways, mature-wise, tone-wise, than even the cartoon itself. And again, that's a big difference, because it's like you compare the two or the three, and it's like day and night. And the same with, you know, the Berenstain Bears when they came out, when they made the big chapter books. You know, it's basically like day and night. It's like when you read this, you're like, oh, it's simple, I understand what they're saying, you know, okay, cool. But when you read this, it's like, whoa, this is totally different. This is almost not like the Berenstain Bears, but it is. And here was what was unique about this too. A lot of these books dealt with the whole Bear family, dealt with the friends at times, on occasions. When Mike Berenstain came up with this along with his folks, came up with this and presented it to his folks, and they were working on it, like I mentioned earlier, he got inspiration, they got inspiration from his kids, their grandkids, kids, of what was going on. And the main focus of the book, as far as characters were concerned, were the Cubs. Because the Cubs, in the books, when you read the stories, in a sense, were going through exactly what everybody else was going through at that time, and that was growing up into adolescent, tweens, preteens, and all that, and they were learning lessons as they were growing. You know, which is why, like, let's say something in, like, let's say, let's see. Like, let's say there's a scenario, a subplot in here where Queenie McBear, Queenie is one of brother and sister's best friends, tries online dating, even though the laptops that she, brother, sister, and all the other students were given are for homework and stuff, and see what they could do, and basically see what homework and stuff, and basically see what they can come up with. At the behest of her cousin, she ends up going and doing an online dating thing, and she finds out that the person that she mysteriously is going to be meeting and going on a date with is a friend of hers. Because basically because they're too young, they don't want their identities to be known. So, but again, it deals with those kind of issues. It even deals, I mean, the plot itself, when you really get into it, deals with basically a terror, well, kind of like terrorism in a sense, but more like a bomb threat to one of the main characters' families, because of the fact that the people, the bombers, the bomb threaters, if you will, the terrorists, if you will, want money. They want money so that they won't, in return, so that they won't blow up, you know, the Squire Grizzly's home. And the way this is done is it teaches a lesson that sometimes going on certain forums and sites at first may look great and everything, but they can be deceiving. Because one of the characters goes on a poetry site, and you know, she's reading all these poetry stories and all that, and she's submitting her own and stuff. And she's even coming up with the idea to collect some of the poetry stories that she's seen and make a book out of them. But then she sees these anonymous things being printed out. Because she's trying to choose a name, and when she finds out certain names that she wants are taken, she later finds out why they were taken. Because all of a sudden, she starts seeing these other things being printed out at the same time, because she wants to make a book, but she ends up seeing that there's something not right here, and well, you'd have to read the story to see exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, long story short, that's the kind of stuff that gets dealt with. You know, the big chapter books deal with. So that right there is the biggest comparison you can think of, because of the fact that you wouldn't normally think, I mean, normally when you think Berenstain Bears, you don't think of something like that. You think of something like this, or what you saw on PBS, you don't normally think of something like that. You don't think of something like love triangles, or teen rock cafes, or rock bands, and all that, or crazy crushes. Basically, there's a book, and I think I have a majority of the big chapter books. I think I do. I think I have all of them. But anyway, there's one that I have called Queenie's Crazy Crush, and she develops a crush on the art teacher. And basically, that to me is, is crazy. It's kind of crazy at times. I mean, they even indicate that Queenie is a bit of a flirt in this incarnation, because she'll even flirt with Brother Bear. So, there you go. It kind of, like I said, it deals with stuff and shows the characters in ways you wouldn't normally see them in when you think of Berenstain Bears, because it's aimed at that demographic that's slowly, that's just coming out of the first time Living Light section and going into that big chapter and going into that older demographic, to where you see them now reading books like the Divergent series, or the Hunger Games series, or the Twilight series, or heck, God forbid, the 50 Shades of Grey. But they wouldn't do that. But you kind of get the idea. And that's where these kind of books came in when Mike Berenstain, along with his folks, came up with them. It's like, hey, we need something that's going to, be really intriguing and people are going to get a kick out of it. And you know what? Honestly, in my opinion, I've gotten a kick out of them. I've enjoyed them. As much as I've enjoyed these just as much. And and to me, it's just a legacy that I truly believe needs to be continued down the line. Because you got so much going on in today's world, there's so many other issues you could deal with. And bringing back the big chapter books, in my opinion, of the Berenstain Bears, would be a great way to deal with them. So that, folks, is the comparison between the two. Between the big chapter books and the Living Lights / First Time books of the Berenstain Bears. So, if you got any questions, let me know down below. Let me know what you guys think.